Where you guys at now?
Oh, you know, we're well ahead of where we were when practice started. Long ways away from being ready for game day, but I feel good about the direction we're going. No doubt about that.
You know, we're going to be talking with Tyler Mitchell here in a little bit. I know offensive linemen don't always get all the love, but what can you say about Tyler?
You know, one, he's a workaholic. Two, he's a fun-loving guy. You know, nothing really bothers him. He's a guy that's going to compete every day, but he likes to have fun doing that. And I love him. In the short time, he's really embraced me, and I feel great about him as a person and as a player.
Sounds like Adam Harder's dealt with some injury issues. How's he doing for you guys?
You know, mentally, he's really done a nice job because, you know, anytime you have get nicked up, you have things happen to you, you know, you can have your dauber go down. But right away, he was already starting to talk to other guys that are maybe behind him on the depth chart and trying to get them better, which I appreciate that.
If you had to choose a running back rotation today, do you think you're in a position where you could do it?
You know, I don't think I would name anybody that would be a 1, 2, and 3, but I think we definitely have 3 or 4 guys I'm going to feel good with.
How's the offensive line performing overall?
Really pretty well. The biggest problem, though, we've got to get where we feel like we truly have 6 or 7 or 8 that can all go in there and play as 5 and play as one group of 5. And I don't think we can make it through a Big 12 season only playing 5 O-linemen. So we've got to keep finding that 2 and 3 quote extra guys to help us.
What kind of leadership have you seen from Tyler and the 2 other seniors on the line?
You know, they don't reach out a lot, maybe say stuff to the running backs or say stuff to the receivers, but they hold all their O-line guys accountable. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing is those guys are holding the O-line accountable, and they're really talking to the O-line and trying to teach those younger guys that haven't had as many live reps.
Seems like you guys are a little beat up at fullback. How trying has it been just trying to get to?
You know, it's not been maybe as bad as someone would think, just because for that position, you know, we're going to try to work all the tight ends / fullbacks in, so that as an example, a Nick Leonard's or a Blaze, they've got to understand how to play fullback as well as tight end. Now, obviously, you probably don't have 6'7" Blaze playing a bunch of fullback, but he understands what they're doing, so it's not as maybe earth-shattering issue as some would think.
I've heard the term like double rep system used a lot from you guys. Can you just explain that to me, like what that means?
Well, basically it means even that brand new true freshman, he's got to be ready to try to learn the system and get in and play, because we're going to have one group of offense down on one end of the field and another group down on the other end. So all 4 fullbacks, as an example, they're all going to get reps even on day 1. So it forces a guy like Jax Deneen to learn the playbook and to get ready to go, because he's got 10 other guys that are counting on him doing his part of the puzzle.
How is Jax coming along right now?
Really good. Been impressed with him. You know, he's got quick twitch. And he likes contact. He still has a learning curve that he's got to keep going. But I've been really happy with him, and the biggest thing is he loves the game. I mean, he flies around. We ask him to do some things sometimes that at his height he's probably not going to do. But learning-wise, we make him do it.
As a new offensive coordinator, do you come in here and try to make everybody on the team fit your system that you've used before? Or do you bend your system more to what?
No, I wouldn't say bend, but I try to get them to understand it's not my system; it's our system. Us as coaches, being the first year with them, really in the spring, the first time with them, we're trying to teach them what our system's going to be. And I think, you know, if you would go and ask Skylar, he would tell you, no, I have input. I'm part of what we are trying to do. And that's what we're trying to get the O-line to understand, the tight ends to understand. Doesn't matter the position, but it's going to be our offense. And it happened to be that we, quote, brought it here from North Dakota State, but by the time we kick off, it needs to be, quote, ours, and they need to have answers and take ownership in it.
What are the biggest questions right now?
You know, the biggest questions right now are just how are we going to handle it when the big lights are on and we're in the middle of the heat and the game's going, because there's a lot of days where I feel really, really good, and there's days where you walk off the practice field saying, okay, we're not ready yet. That's all right, because it's not August 31st yet.
Jax was a big leader at Free State and Lawrence. I know as a true freshman that's hard to do, but are those abilities he's kind of flashed a little bit for you guys?
Not so much his ability to lead anyone else, but his ability to have a desire to learn has been phenomenal. And that part is really trying to show leadership to some of those younger guys that, guys, we don't have the answers right now. At some point we will, but right now we got to be a sponge. And that part to me is a leadership quality, because he's smart enough to understand I don't have the answers, but I'm going to learn the answers.
Are you seeing much separation at the backup quarterback job at this point?
You know, it's kind of odd that you ask that, because there's days that we walk off the field saying, boy, I think one's starting to separate, and then a day later you say it's still a horse race between three guys. As an example, Jaron Lewis started getting a few more reps on one of our ends of double rep, and he saw major improvement as that happened. And I think the biggest thing that they all have to understand is it's out of their control who the second string guy is. It is in their control how well they perform. And then that's what's going to make us say, yep, that's the guy that I think can lead us if we need him to.
In North Dakota State, you had a bunch of running backs grouped in about the same number of carries, somewhere between 80 and 150. How did you go about keeping everybody happy and working everybody in?
Well, it's twofold. Part of it's keeping people happy, and I would say not so much happy, but keeping them engaged, making sure they know they've got a role, they got a part of it. The second thing goes to, at North Dakota State, the ability to keep people healthy, the ability to understand the bodies that we were dealing with, and how many carries can one guy get and still be able to come out and play the next week just as explosively and efficiently. That's the thing that we'll need to figure out here is James Gilbert, Jordan Brown, Harry Trotter, all those guys that are in there, where are we at with the number of reps they can take, and the next week still open up when the bell rings and be ready to go. So some guys can take a whole bunch of carries. I've coached backs before that would carry it 30 times a game and still be able to come back and play the next week. I've also coached a bunch of backs that if you get 15 carries, you're feeling pretty good about yourself and you should be able to play the next week just as well.
Two more guys.
Who's impressed you most at running back?
It kind of goes to the quarterback situation. I know it sounds odd, but there's been days where you said, man, Harry had 3 rip plays where he probably went for 35, 40 yards on one. Today, as an example, Jordan Brown had one where the first cut he made was just phenomenal, and you said, wow, that guy's played before. And obviously some of the other guys have had the same things. You know, I think James Gilbert, from spring ball to now, he can basically coach it already, which is phenomenal, which you wouldn't think, except that he's been through a lot of football already. He's an older guy that's played a ton, so his knowledge has really been impressive. So, you know, I feel good with a group of backs.
Where have you seen Skylar improve the most so far?
Probably as much as anything, just his continued understanding of the offense, where, as an example, when we go to a 2-minute drive, my ability to basically tell him, hey, it's yours, pull the trigger. Well, coach, we're in huddle. I know that. That's all right. You understand it. What do you feel best with? And he pulls that trigger and we go operate. And that's where I start feeling really good about him understanding what we're trying to do, and not our offense, not my offense, but our offense.